What's up, Baylor fam? Scotty Swingler here coming to you live from the Alico building in Waco. Man, it feels good. Feels good to get a win yesterday. I'll admit, I didn't think they had it in them, guys. Didn't think that fourth quarter was going to happen. Pleasantly surprised by the rally yesterday. Just a ton of fun to see a team fight back, get a big win. I know Kansas State is not their best this season, but it feels good. Get a home win. We talked the last couple of weeks about how important it was going to be to start getting those home wins after it's been difficult to get those in the last three seasons. I felt good. Also felt like the most appropriate day if I'm ever going to wear this shirt again. I forget which season I bought this shirt, Terrence Ganaway, but I bought this shirt, this Horns Down Baylor shirt for my podcast listeners. And I haven't really had an opportunity to wear it in a long time. But after yesterday's events, it felt like it was okay. Texas no longer in the top 25 for the first time since, I believe, 2023. So that feels great if you're a Baylor fan today. Before I bring in Terrence, no well-rehearsed, pre-recorded intro today. I just wanted to reflect on one thing. They say that football is a game of inches. And I think as I've tried to process the many emotions from yesterday's game and maybe as you've tried to process yesterday's win against Kansas State, I think about that more and more, the game of inches and how easily this thing and really this season could go any other way based on one or two plays. Like, think about this, right? Like, just the fact of a blocked field goal. Anytime you have a special teams play like that, it's a play of inches. So the fact that Baylor won on that play is a testament to this. I think of things like Michael Trigg's catch on the sideline, number one on SportsCenter, game of inches. I think of the fact that without Jacob Redding playing safety, Baylor would be 2-4 right now, not 4-2. Like, if he doesn't get that interception in the end zone against SMU, and if he doesn't get that pick six yesterday, Baylor's 2-4. That's two huge plays by a player none of us were talking about before the first game of the season. And without him, Baylor's 2-4. It's a game of inches. I think of one play at a time. I think of the kickoff return against Auburn. I think of Michael Trigg's drop against Auburn. If you change those two plays, it's Baylor 5-1. I mean, football is a game where every single play matters. Baylor had 2 total yards in the third quarter yesterday on offense, in large part because Caden Knighton made a freshman mistake and lost 11 yards on the first carry of a drive before Sawyer Robertson got sacked in the same drive. 2 plays that could have lost Baylor the game. We could be talking about those 2 plays if Baylor had lost instead of won. So football is such a game of inches. It's such a game of one play at a time. Every single play matters. That's why it's disingenuous, win or lose, to pin the game on one play ever. But what that reiterates to me, and then I'm going to bring in Terrence Ganaway to give us the player's perspective. If every inch counts and every player counts, then I want a team that fights to be excellent on every down, every drive, every possession. First quarter, fourth quarter, whether you're a receiver running a route, a linebacker fitting a run gap, a cornerback getting your head around for the football, every play counts. And when you look at the box score of this game, it is really evident that Baylor is fortunate to get out of Waco yesterday with a win. We'll take it. I liked Josh Cameron's quote after the game, Terrence. Josh Cameron says, "I'd rather have an ugly win than a pretty loss." I think all of us agree with that. I agree with that. But that box score is not pretty. Baylor did not rush for 100 yards. They've got to figure that out. I know Bryson may not be 100%, but the line's not getting a lot of push up front. You got to figure that out. You're not gonna do what you want to do as a team this season or a program moving forward if you can't run the football. Sawyer Robertson and Avery Johnson basically played the same game through the air. They both threw 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Avery took a few more passes to do it, but I believe, let me double check. Yeah, they were within 6 yards of each other. Avery threw for 339. Sawyer threw for 345. That's not a knock on Sawyer. That is an indictment against pass defense on Baylor's team. How many big plays they gave up through the air. By the way, speaking of 1 play, 1 inch, if Jace Brown straps his helmet down, maybe there's 1 inch that he could have applied on himself to win Kansas State that football game, right? So many things to talk about. I've rambled on long enough. Let's get Terrence Ganaway, Baylor record-setting running back, Alamo Bowl MVP, one of my best friends in the whole world. Terrence, that's my takeaway, man. Every play counts, every snap, every inch. How are you feeling after a dramatic last-second victory for Baylor yesterday? Terrence, you are muted. There you go.
I feel like I'm always twiddling in the background when you're doing your monologue, so I'll mute myself. But I feel like we made the plays to be really good and win the game. Unfortunately, I felt like we could have controlled the game. We had a couple of negative plays in the third quarter that kind of got us behind the sticks in a few series, but we overcame it. Listen, Kansas State had that game in the bag, and they were up 14. They had a 3rd and short. They go under center, which they didn't do much yesterday. It went under center, and it just was an ugly play. They punted the ball, and Baylor made it a 7-point game, and the rest is history. We're in the fourth quarter. Baylor is a phenomenal fourth quarter team in games like this. And it's not that we're not running the ball effectively. I mean, Bryson Washington had 7 yards of carry. Michael Turner was around 5 yards of carry. We just don't stick to it. And it's hard to stick to the run when you're down 14 going into the fourth quarter. But if we are able to keep this game close, it was really weird because Kansas State had 2 very long I think they were both 10-plus play drives in the third quarter. And all my people that are at the game, they're they're filing out of the stadium. Everyone's leaving. They're not happy. And then next thing you know, Baylor does what it always does under Aranda is they put together a very decent fourth quarter, and we go win a game. And I agree 1,000% with Josh Cameron. I would rather have an ugly win than a pretty loss. I remember Coach Kaz yelling on the sideline, keep it ugly. It didn't have to be pretty. Make it ugly. Let's get bloody. Let's lose a few teeth, and no one cares if you won. We can go get everything patched up, especially going into a bye week. But I think this bye week comes perfectly right in the middle of the season.
Yep.
We're ready to get back to action, and TCU looked vulnerable the last couple of weeks. Once against ASU, we thought they were going to rout them, and then took their foot off the gas. And then Colorado moved the ball well yesterday against them as well. So we got a lot to look forward to, but we got to get everybody healthy, and we got to get back to the basics. And I hope that this bye week, we can do a little bit of what we did last year is start committing to the run, getting ahead of the chain, ahead of the sticks, and ahead of the scoreboard so we can control the clock and not have our defense out there for very, very long drives. But it's a win. We're 4-2. We're 2-1 in conference play. Conference play is wide open right now. Houston is on our radar later this year. UCF is on our radar later this year. BYU and Tech seems like they are going to be the front runners in this conference. I have no idea what happened with Iowa State at Cincinnati. That's another big game for us as well.
It is.
But we got all of it right in front of us, so I'm excited about it.
You're right. And at the end, Terrence says, after we wrap up talking about this game, I did want to look at the Big 12 standings because it is a as we predicted, and yet nobody could have predicted. Wildly unpredictable. A couple teams where we thought they'd be, but most of these teams, it could be anywhere on this list. And we'll take a look at that at the end going into the bye week. But, as I was looking at this box score, bro, and thinking about it, I said Baylor's lucky in some ways to get out of there with this win. They earned it. I don't want to take away from the effort or the fourth quarter comeback. Like, hear me. Michael Trigg's a hero. Jacob Redding's a hero. Lots of these guys. I know I named those guys. Cooper Lands blocking the field goal. And then everybody that put up that effort in the fourth quarter. It would have been easy when that stadium empties out and you're down 2 scores going in the fourth to quit. And these guys didn't quit. Props to them. That being said, you look at this box score. Kansas State outpossessed Baylor by a significant margin on the time of possession. Kansas State ran the ball far better, outgained Baylor overall in offense as well. And Baylor lost the turnover battle again, and I was shocked. Tells you how important turnovers. That Jacob Redding pick 6, that really, I think that was the play of the game to me. First turnover Baylor had forced in 3 games. That's something else I think you take into this bye week if you're a Coach Aranda and staff and say, hey, I know turnovers are rare. Like if you force 2 in a game, you probably feel pretty good, but we have to keep forcing them. You can't, again, against Arizona State, we said you can't lose the turnover battle 3-0 and expect to win. The fact that Arizona State lost that game or won that game on a last second field goal is actually an indictment on Arizona State to me. So Terrence, like, is this kind of best case scenario? And by that, I mean, bye week is at a perfect time. There is so much on this tape from yesterday that Aranda and coaching staff can pull together and say, we have to fix this. We have to discipline this out. We can't keep giving up 15-yard penalties on the last possession on defense. We can't keep losing the turnover battle. We have to figure out a way to stop giving up big plays to the air. Like, there's a lot to fix, but yet you still got the W's. So I feel like, man, we go into the bye week feeling good about 4-2, feeling energized by a last-second victory, and also ready to work because, man, I think in that locker room, the leaders of this team know we got away with one, and we got to be better. But by the way, these 2 games coming up, TCU and Cincinnati, are now tremendous tests because you're right. TCU looks vulnerable. Cincinnati is not undefeated. But both of those football teams, I believe, are significantly better than that Kansas State team you just beat.
100%. And what we talked about going into the second quarter of the season a few weeks ago, where we couldn't drop 2 of the 3. We won 2 of the 3, and now we are really poised to figure out how we're going to start the second half of the season, the third quarter, with 2 really good teams. We got a bye week. TCU, we talk about the energy in the locker room, on the sideline, in the stands. I don't think the TCU game is going to be lacking any energy on either sideline. It's well documented how much we despise each other during football season. And we're going to get up and we're going to be ready to play. I think we just got to figure out what we want to be good at. Are we going to be a run-first team? I don't think so. We have a 1,000-yard rusher in Bryson, and he's had a very good season. If you would have asked me, I would have thought he was a 15, 16, 1,700 back to start the season. I don't think he gets there unless we flip the script entirely. But Sawyer's having a really good year, so you can't take it away from him. But our defense needs to give our offense a chance to be a little bit more balanced in their approach. And we can't be balanced when we're down 14 to start big games. SMU and, start the fourth quarter, SMU and now KU. They've shown to get up on people and not be able to close the game. So I think we're going to be able to go after them and keep it a close game for the most part. And Hoover is known to turn it over. Their defense is still trying to figure out how they're going to, fit in the Big 12. The offense has really carried them, similar to what Baylor has done for our offense has done for our team. Cincinnati's a really good team. Their only loss was a very, very close loss at a neutral site against Nebraska to start the season. And they've been playing really good ball. And so as I think about this next 3-game, I mean, it is going to be critical 3-game stretches for us to go 2-1 again. And I don't know who we used to. Obviously, I would love to go 3-0 during the stretch because that lifts us up. I'm sure someone is going to have a couple of people are going to have Big 12 losses as this next quarter starts, but we can't go in there thinking we can get out of there with a 1-2 record and think we have a chance to play in the Big 12 title. You said it all along, Scotty. I agree with you. There needs to be some things that need to be addressed and fixed during this next bye week, getting people healthy. But everything is right in front of Baylor. They must take action and identify what they have to be good at moving forward and get back to the basics. Don't listen, if you're going to be a run defense, be a run defense. Let's give up pass plays. But we can't give up third and long couple of drives in a row. You just thinking, like, oh my goodness, that last drive against Kansas State where I thought we were going to win, and Kansas State was just stupid. Honestly, I thought they were going to score a touchdown, and they really settled for a field goal.
Yeah,
and that's what lost them the game. A couple other plays as well, but gosh, we cannot be that because Avery Johnson, he's a great athlete. But he's no superhero.
Terrence, I want to ask you something about that final Kansas State drive that you just mentioned. But first, I want to thank Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. If you're here in Central Texas, man, this is our exclusive sponsor right now. Please bear with me. Gather & Co., my friends Kelly Falkenberry and her team. Give them a call. They have rebranded recently. So if you know Falkenberry Construction, that's who these folks are, right? They rebranded it as Kitchen and Bath because that is what they do well. They want to turn your house into a home, whether it's that outdoor space, outdoor kitchen, outdoor, put up the TV and watch some college football this fall. That they can help you renovate your patio area to be the dream hang for all your friends. They can also help you renovate your bathroom. Maybe you want to upgrade your master bath. Maybe your mom or your dad lives with you and you want them to have one of those accessible, safe bathrooms for someone who's a little older. And they can do that for you as well. Give my friends a call at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. Check out their website. Tell them Scotty sent you. That'll help me out too. Terrence, here's what I want to ask you. A couple thoughts and then maybe a question. I think you've mentioned a couple things. So one, you mentioned Kansas State kind of like settled for that field goal at the end. And I just got to say, I think Jake Spavital can take a lesson here from Matt Wells because you talked about needing to stick to the run. And sure, some of that is part of being down. But Terrence, like, let's be honest, Dave Aranda, for instance, said on the radio, I saw on X that at halftime that the Bears needed to run the football more. And in the third quarter, outside of that Caden Knighton attempt, which was bad, Baylor came out and ran pass. Like they were trying to keep throwing the ball. I think Spavital can fall into that, for lack of a better comp, like Hugh Freeze trap of like, you remember Hugh Freeze joked after the Baylor game about having to use a lot of discipline to keep running the football because it was working, right? Spav wants to throw it around the yard. Obviously, he's got a top 5 quarterback in America and this deep receiving core. It's the best position group on the team. It's these receivers. And Michael Trigg, obviously, freaking weapon. But I think there needs to be dedication to the run. And the reason I brought up Wells, I felt like Matt Wells, the offensive coordinator for Kansas State, galaxy brained this thing. Every time they brought in that second quarterback, their offense suffered. I didn't feel, I thought that might be a wrinkle that would cause difficulty for Baylor. Baylor's defense actually played much better because it was way more predictable when that second quarterback came trotting into the game. And then, yeah, there at the end, like some of the play calling on that goal line stand, props to Baylor's defense for the stand, making the plays. But like, man, why aren't we running 3 QB sneaks there? Like, what are we thinking? You've got Avery Johnson and you're trying to throw the football. Like, so I almost want that to be a lesson to Spav. Not to overthink it, to stick to the game plan, run the football. What was my question? I got off on that offensive coordinator bit. This is what I get for not taking notes as you talk.
Well, also settling for a field goal. There's nothing wrong with that either.
Hey, listen. I said yesterday after the game, Dave Aranda took the field goal on the first drive, and aren't we glad he did? Aren't we glad he did when it's a one possession game? Yeah, I remember. I remember my question. I saw some Baylor fans really mad in that moment that I just talked about with that last Kansas State possession there towards the end zone. They were like, let them score. Let them score. Let them score. Like, we need the ball back. We need time. We've got timeouts. Like, let them score, and then but we can go score. I'm obviously glad we didn't. I usually don't agree with that philosophy. As a player, I just wanted to ask your perspective on that. Is it ever okay? I mean, that is a fan perspective drives me crazy. The let them score. Oh, they're going to score anyway. Let them score. How did that make you feel? Did you see some of that on X yesterday?
Well, they had a chance to go ahead and get ahead of the game with a field goal or a touchdown. So at that point, you're just trying to figure out what's the strategy, what's the analytics say when it comes to how long do we have the score, how long will we have the ball. I think if they had a first down at the 15 and they could get another first down, yes, let them score, because obviously they can just run the clock out, force Baylor to use their timeouts, kick a walk-off field goal, similar to what Arizona State did against us. But once they got that first down, and then I think they threw it on the first down of that.
Yeah, they did. They did.
It's like, yeah, let's not let them score, because like we got our timeouts and there's plenty enough time left. One of the things that I just felt like Kansas State got really, really lazy at is that they got too cute, and they're running the ball really effectively. They did a really good job of using Avery Johnson's legs. And so why not give him a read option, which is why I was so and I mean, Scotty, I text you and a couple of guys during the game, and I'm sure y'all like, who are you going for? But I really don't like bad football, regardless of who's playing it. And so when I see a 3rd and 2 from Kansas State and the quarterback's under center, it's almost a telltale. You talk about being very obvious when you bring in another quarterback, the bigger quarterback. He got a big 3rd down late in the game for him too. But when you talk about being obvious, you take a mobile quarterback and put him on the center, you just reduce half the field. He's got to reverse out. He loses vision. Why don't you just give him the ball and shotgun and let him read everything? And so I thought definitely giving them the ball back after a 4th down turnover on downs, they were going to go down and make it a 21-point game, and it was going to be over. And Kansas State, I swear to you, woke up today, and they were upset that they let this game get away from them offensively. Defense for Kansas State played good. Michael Trigg is a phenomenal player. He's a mismatch against any safety, corner, or linebacker in the country.
Yep.
So, like, you can't get mad at him for going off and having a really good game. Everybody else, you can, they're not. They're good, but you can match them up and you can scheme them. So I thought Kansas State defense played well up until the last, 4th quarter, and Baylor just made really good plays. And Sawyer was throwing dots yesterday, which obviously changes the game. For me, I don't ever like giving up a touchdown unless analytics, time of possession, and you trust your offense to go down and score a touchdown. And so once they got that first down, they threw the ball, and then they were kind of pigeonholed, like, hey, we don't have that many more downs. We got 2 more downs. We got to kick a field goal. I would have forced Baylor to call a timeout, and I would let the clock bleed as long as possible. At the end of the day, Kansas State got the ball back and had a chance to win, but special teams came up big, which we did not like special teams going into the game this year. They haven't been great, but they came up big, made a big play. And, yes, one play doesn't call the game, but that play and the interception won the game for us.
It did. It did. And listen, you're right. Let's give credit to Baylor special teams. Not only that, but I think we talked about every play counts. Kansas State botched some punts. They were ugly. Baylor's got one of the best punters in America. I think that made a difference yesterday, even if it doesn't quite show up in the box score. Man, comment section is active. Thank you on YouTube for commenting on the live chat. If you're watching on X, jump over to Please Bear With Me on YouTube. You can join us in the live chat. Let's review some of these comments. We've got some frustrated folks and some happy folks. It's pretty funny, Terrence, to kind of see the diversity here in the chat. My buddy Kretschhammer says, this was early as I was talking, we've had last-minute heroics and last-minute losses at home. So, yeah, for every win like yesterday, you lost Arizona State on a last-second field goal too. So, great point. Great point. Scotty B, the Baylor King, glad you're with us, brother. Enjoyed the complimentary football at the end to take the lead. Thanks, Baylor responded. I appreciate that. Terrence, I think we've kind of covered this account. Now, I don't like the name of this account, Pete My Shirt. Okay. But this account, Horn Recruiting, I'm going to guess that because of that logo, Horn Recruiting is a last name, not a reference to the Longhorns. Terrence, why don't you answer this? Team is 4-2 going into the bye as opposed to 2-4 like last year. What's the mindset going into the bye?
Listen, I think what we talked about earlier, getting back to the basics, figuring out what we want to do offensively and defensively, or we're going to be a run-first team. I think that is situational football. Scotty B talked about playing complementary football in the fourth quarter. You can do that when the game is tight and you need defense to make stops, which they did. Offense did exactly what they needed to do. But Baylor has to figure out these next 6 games, because I think if you look at our schedule, the next 6 games have a much more tougher schedule than we started out with, at least conference play. I mean, we got Kansas State and Oklahoma State right out of the gate, and those are probably going to be teams that are – Oklahoma State's going to be at the bottom of the league. But Kansas State is probably right there, the bottom 3 quarters of the league. Everyone else right now that we're playing is up there at the top of the league. Houston, UCF, who's playing good. They dropped one yesterday to Kansas, but UCF, Houston, TCU, Cincinnati, and 2 of those are on the road. Arizona is going to be a big game too. So if I'm Baylor and I'm trying to figure out what's the mindset, I think we just play fundamental discipline ball. Keep it simple, stupid. There is nothing this team needs to work on that they can't focus down on within the next week. And on defense, let's pick a game and say we're going to be really good at stopping the run, and we're going to make them pass the ball. If you'd have told me that Avery Johnson was going to throw more attempts than Sawyer Robinson yesterday, I would have said that's a lie. But defense did a good job of making him throw the ball. The thing is, he also has 72 rushing yards on the ground. And so we still haven't figured out mobile quarterback yet. Hoover's going to be able to move around with his legs. So we're going to have to figure out how to stop him. And then I think the defenses are going to be a little bit more opportunistic that we face moving forward. Houston's defense played a much better game last night than what the score would show you against Texas Tech. That's a good defense. Cincinnati has a great defense. TCU is trying to figure out things, but their defense is opportunistic. Their offense is what's carrying them, similar to what Baylor offense does for the Bears. But listen, Horn Recruiting, it's no surprise that Baylor should focus on running the ball, staying ahead of the sticks, and then playing a very focused, sound defensive ball game. And if we do that, we'll be fine. Special teams has to continue to get better, which they have done since early this season.
Man, there's at least, and I just want all of you guys to know in the chat, I see you. I'm not going to throw all these comments up, and I'm pretty determined today to not talk about Dave Aranda's job. I feel like we did that for about 3 or 4 weeks in a row. I hear you. I resonate with some frustration stuff here, but to my friends, let's see. Cynical Bear, Iron Reaper, Bobby B, Johnny Rico. I see you guys. I hear you. I know that feeling is real, and it's going to take some consistent wins and some consistency over a period of time beyond a last-second victory over Kansas State at home to alleviate those concerns. Terrence, I will raise this to you, and this is something we've kind of talked about for a few weeks, but we did see it again yesterday. And I remember I've known Justin for many years. By the way, Horn Recruiting, I think, is Brian Horn with Oso Media Group, if I'm not crazy. I hate trying to mix up these YouTube handles with your Twitter handles, guys. I get confused. But Brian, let me know when the Oso podcast guys want to come on and do a crossover with me and Terrence. That would be a lot of fun. I love those guys. But here's what I wanted to throw up. Justin, I've known Justin Pipes for a long time. Terrence, this is a good question. Tell me why we can't play the first 3 quarters like we do the fourth quarter. It's almost like the team invites being down by 2 scores so they can finally turn it on. And, bro, I said this after the SMU game. I said it in the Arizona State game. I mean, we saw it yesterday, right? And it's not just one thing. It feels like the whole team. It feels like Sawyer plays his best under more pressure. That pick in the first quarter was egregious. That was bad. But fourth quarter, like you said, he's throwing dots. He's making plays. He's being smart with the football. But it's the whole team, man. The defense seems to step up when we're down 2 scores. Everything seems to turn on when the pressure's hottest. And again, I almost want to push back against some of these people. I'm not saying this very full-throated. If you've heard me talk for the last 3 weeks, that is a credit to Dave Aranda. I want to give him that. Like
he turns it on.
These teams are mentally tough. They are, because there's a lot of 18 to 22-year-olds who go down by 2 scores. The entire stadium leaves at the beginning of the fourth quarter and they quit. And these guys don't. And I love them for it. And that's a credit to them. But Terrence, it is a good question. Like, how and especially on the road against TCU in 2 weeks, bro. Like, you got to find that juice early. You can't go down to every, Cincinnati, Iowa State went down early to Cincinnati and mounted a really nice comeback. But it wasn't enough, because against a good team, Kansas State's not a good team this season. Like, I hate to break it to you. This is the worst team they've had in a long time. Against a good team, you go down 2 scores in the fourth quarter, you're in trouble. Like, there's a reason we talk about 61-58. It's because it was a miracle that we pulled that off against that good of a team that season. So to answer Justin's question, why does it happen, and how do you correct it in this bye week?
It's a great question, Scotty. And if I'm going to be honest, we're not a great team. It's simple as that. I don't see great coaching. Not to say Dave Aranda is not a good coach. Not to say our staff is not a good staff. But to see how inconsistent Baylor is lets you know that we're far from great. And if the standard is great, then it's okay to poke holes through it. But if the standard is good, Scotty B, you've won 8 of the 9 last conference games. We looked a lot better late last year, and which I think some people were a player or two from being 1-2 this year. And no one cares about last season. No one cares. You talk to all these coaches, you hear them talking on ESPN. Y'all have done this the last 10 years. They're like, I don't care. It's this season right now. Baylor, I love Baylor. I got 3 or 4 jerseys hanging up in this room, man, that are Baylor. I got all types of Baylor gear. It is where I got my degree from, where I got my graduate degree from. I still owe Baylor money. But I tell you this, with all sincerity, we're not a good football team. We're not a great football team. Sorry. And so that's why you see the inconsistencies. That's why you see giving up 500 yards to Kansas State. And if you really want me to be even more honest, we're a coin flip away from being a Kansas State this year. Very identical teams. Talent all over the field, can make plays. just not really well coached situationally, fundamentally, executional, operational. It's just not great across the board. And that's why you see Bryson Washington struggling. That's why you see some plays from Sawyer. It's 4th and 2, but we've been running this switch release concept. We had Ashton Hawkins on a slant route wide open for a touchdown.
Cameron. It was Cameron. I know the exact play you're talking about.
Yes. So wide open for a touchdown, but it was pre-snap read. And I sit there and I watch the game, and I'm texting Scotty and a couple of buddies. I'm like, man, how do teams just let our offense run the exact same play over and over again? Like it is beyond me. And Sawyer got stuck on that route. Sawyer played a great game. I'm not trying to bash him. We had a walk-in touchdown if he comes off of that initial read. But I think it was predetermined, which I tell you, I think Spavital, Sawyer needs Spavital more than Spavital needs Sawyer. And I think it's probably more in the middle of the road for that statement this year than it was last year, because I think both of them are thriving off of each other, and Spavital could have an opportunity to go be a head coach in the offseason. I don't think he's going to get a Power 4 job. I don't think he's ready for that. But to answer your question, Justin, and I know you texted me yesterday a couple of times too, we're not a great football team. And I think that's where everyone in these comments, everyone at Baylor, expected Baylor to be a great football team this year. And we're just a okay football team. Someone that's fun to cheer for. 4th quarter, let's stay and see what happens. That's what type of football team was. And you could say, we were going to win. There's no one other than the people on the sideline in the stadium that felt like we were going to win the game when we were down 14. No one. And so that's why you see some of the inconsistency across the board. My thoughts.
I appreciate those thoughts. I think you are spot on with a lot of it. I just want to I love the active chat. Let's be cool to one another, though, everybody. No need to be cussing at each other about who's a real fan or not. We're all fans, and we can feel differently. That's cool. I appreciate it. I
mean, if any one of those are in a group chat with me on Saturday, they probably think I'm not a real fan at all. I just hate watching bad football. And, Scotty, we go back and forth, and some of it is we're just joking around with each other. But I hate watching bad football, and Baylor has plenty of bad football they put on tape this year. Still root for. But I agree with Scotty. Keep it civil, guys.
Let's do this, and then I told Terrence we'd keep this episode a little shorter today. We'll come back next week, of course. I'm going to try to get us a good guest to help us break down TCU. Let's look at conference standings and where things are at for Baylor going forward. Because here's the deal, guys. I'm seeing some noise here in the chat about next season, and I hear you. A lot of question marks about next season. It's coaching staff. You lose a ton of offensive talent. All of this is correct. But right now, we are only halfway through the 2025 season. And I just want to tell you, as Terrence has said, and I know Terrence just had some criticisms for Baylor, but this Big 12 title race is wide the heck open. Let me show you these standings real quick. I just pulled these off of Google. You've got 4 undefeated teams at the top, 2-0 in conference. BYU and Texas Tech, I think, are really good. Texas Tech is living up so far.
And we don't play either one of those teams this year.
Correct. Yes. But Texas Tech so far this season living up to that Cody Campbell money, Shahan Jayaraja article, all that stuff. They're doing well. BYU, I think, is a really great football team. Mm-hmm. They have not played half the skill on the other side as Baylor has, and they do have a true freshman quarterback. And he's good. Like, Bear Bachmeier is a problem. Like, especially his next season and his junior season, that guy is a problem for this conference. But I think BYU might drop a couple here. Arizona State's 2-0. They've looked vulnerable, man. They looked vulnerable against Baylor. They looked vulnerable against TCU. I think they'll get got somewhere. Cincinnati, guys, is 2-0 in conference. Baylor travels there in 3 weeks. That is going to be a tremendously important game, and we'll know more about Cincinnati then. But then after that, here's Baylor in this group with Iowa State and Kansas at 2-1, and then just behind Arizona, Houston, at 1-1. Didn't have room in the graphic to get the whole thing, but TCU, Utah also at 1-1. And Baylor right now is truly in that second flight, right? Truly in that second flight. But I will tell you, only one of these teams do I think might go undefeated through conference. Might. And I would probably bet nobody does, but it might be Tech. None of these other teams are going undefeated through conference. I don't think so.
Tech's offense is not great. At least they haven't been playing great, but their defense is lights out, similar to BYU. Their defense plays really good football.
Yeah. But my point is there is a team that is going to come out of all these one-loss teams to play in the championship game. I believe that. And I'm already seeing some people throw shade at me for saying we're a contender. Yes, we are. At this moment, we are. You got to fix some things this bye week. You got to beat TCU and Cincinnati on the road, which is no easy task. But y'all, if Baylor goes to Fort Worth and goes to Cincinnati and can find wins on the road, and these Dave Aranda teams have been better on the road in big games than at home in big games, UCF and Houston should be wins. Arizona might be a tough game on the road, but that's in November. Guys, this schedule sets up for Baylor to sneak their way in that conference championship game. It does.
I disagree. There's no sneaking at all. This graphic is it's a snapshot in time.
Yes, sir.
Arizona is going to be good on the road. Houston, we got them to end out the season. If you look at our schedule, everyone has one loss on our schedule except UCF. Everyone has one loss. And obviously there's some cannibalization with the Big 12. Everyone's playing each other. But if you look through this schedule, we got TCU and Cincinnati. That's no guarantee. Both play really good football. And TCU is a rival game, so that's a toss-up. Cincinnati is going to be tough going to Cincinnati. We just saw what they did to Iowa State. I think they're a really good football team in Cincinnati. We come home to UCF. If we drop 0-2 in the start this third quarter of the season, we drop 0-2. There wasn't a lot of people at the game yesterday. There's not going to be a lot of people in the game against UCF. I mean, they're going to be giving away tickets. We're going to need our boy
That's homecoming. It is homecoming.
Okay. We're going to need our boy T-Rex to still help us give away tickets because that's what's going to happen. People are going to be in Waco, but not going to be at the game. Then we have Utah at home. I think that game could be fun because Utah is a good team. Having them come home to play us. But Scotty, man, like I said, and Justin, got me thinking about this. We're very inconsistent.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that I've seen. The high highs, yes, we can beat every last team on the rest of our schedule. But the low lows, we can get beat by every last team on this schedule as well. I don't think that's going to happen. But if we drop 3-3, yeah, what these people are saying in the comments is that, we're not a Big 12 contender. And I would agree wholeheartedly with them. The football we play to date is not indicative of a Big 12 contender style football. We don't have the defense to do it. And our offense sometimes just sputters out and gives you a 17-yard third quarter, a negative 2-yard third quarter. Like, you cannot do that if you want to be a Big 12 contender. And we've seen that a couple of times this year. And so that's why I disagree that we can sneak in. If we win this, we're going to have to go and take each one of these wins, and it's going to start with TCU. But my assumption is that we beat UCF. I think we get one of the two against TCU and Cincy. But one of the it gets increasingly more difficult, I believe. And then you got the battle of attrition. We're not healthy right now. I think Sawyer's healthy. His quarterback sneak in the fourth quarter to make it a 6-point game was genius. I would have never called it, but it was genius because it worked out. It put the pressure on Kansas State, and obviously we saw them fold. But Bryson Washington has to get healthy. He has to get more carries. He has to get more touches. You see what we do when we throw him the ball out in the flats. I mean, he's running through tackles, running over tackles. Like, why can't we not do that more often? We do got a really deep receiving core, and that makes it challenging to spread the wealth around. But he's our bell cow, and we need to route him. And then Sawyer is probably going to have to use his legs a lot more in these last 6 games than he has the previous 6.
He is. I agree with that completely. Man, it is so, guys, college football. I'll just say this because we're all sitting here speculating. Terrence and I are speculating. That's what, as we do this every week, right? So I am not. This is not a criticism as much of a statement of fact. And Terrence said it when you opened your comments just a second ago, bro. You said these standings are a snapshot in time. This podcast and these emotions we feel about this Baylor team are also a snapshot in time. And college football, we were reminded yesterday, y'all, is the most chaotic, unpredictable sport in America. That's why we love it. UCLA just curb stopped Penn State. I never would have thought going into yesterday that was possible, right? And it happened all over. There were several upsets. I mean, did anybody have Cincinnati going up by 3-4 scores in the first half against Iowa State? I didn't.
I mean, Kurt Herbstreit did. I mean, he picked it.
Well, you can pick a win, but I did not see the blitzkrieg coming in that first half. It is the most unpredictable. It is truly why we love sports. Almost anybody, not anybody, but almost anybody can get on the field and beat almost anybody on any given Saturday. And so, guys, it is entirely possible, and you all know this, Baylor goes 6-0, finishes the season 10-2, and is in Arlington. It is in front of us because this sport is chaotic, and Baylor's got some dudes, man. Like, I still believe in Sawyer, Bryson, Josh. That trio, Michael Trigg is just like the best icing on the cake we've ever had. Like, that trio can win you games by themselves. They can. But Baylor could also go 1-5, like, and miss a bowl game. That could happen also. And so we can feel our feelings and make our predictions. We don't freaking know, man. And that's part of why this sport is so fun. Texas Tech could lose 3 of the next 4.
Man,
it would surprise me, but we don't know.
You look at the schedule. I mean, BYU is 5-0. They got Arizona at Arizona. They got Utah at home, which is always a fun game for BYU. Then they go to Iowa State. Then they go to Texas Tech. They have TCU. Then they go to Cincinnati. I mean, their schedule doesn't get any better to finish out the year. And then Texas Tech schedule to finish out the year. They got Kansas, Arizona State. I think they're going to go beat Arizona State in a couple of weeks. Oklahoma State, Kansas State. They got BYU.
November, a fun game.
November 8th.
Yeah.
But is
that in Lubbock? Is that in Lubbock or in Provo?
It's in Lubbock. But if anyone has the best remaining schedule, it is Texas Tech. They got Kansas, Arizona State at Arizona State, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, UCF, and West Virginia.
Oh, I mean, those 4 games to end that schedule are wow, dude. Wow. I take back what I said about them losing 3. I take it back.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to lose.
They've got the bottom of the league in the final 4 games.
I mean, it sets up very beautifully for them. I think the hardest schedule on the other end is Iowa State and BYU have a tough schedule. Utah, I haven't seen what Utah has the rest of the year, but
Baylor, we haven't talked about that. Baylor's got to play Utah.
Yeah. We get them at home after UCF, after homecoming. So we'll see how that all shakes out.
Man, anything can happen. It's going to be a crazy rest of the season. Terrence, we've done this for almost an hour, so let's put a bow on it, brother. It's been good. It's been fun. We'll come back next week, talk about anything we heard in the bye week, try to get a guest to help us preview. I'm still going to call it the Revivalry. I don't care what the student government say it's called. It's the Revivalry, the Blue Bonnet Bowl.
Oh, that's trash.
How stupid is that, bro? Yeah. Or the Blue Bonnet Rivalry or the Blue Bonnet Battle, whatever the Blue Bonnet.
It's so
neither of these schools claim blue bonnets as a core part of their identity. It's just like, oh, they're both in Texas. It's like, that's stupid, bro. It's the Revivalry. It will always be the Revivalry. That's funny. It still says Revivalry in the video game, I think. I think it still says it. So love you, student government, but we do not like blue bonnet battle. I threw a fit about that last year when they announced it.
Is there a trophy?
I don't think so.
Well, we hand each other flowers after the game. We're like, how does this? What does the winner get?
What if it was? What if we totally committed to the bit and it was a bouquet of blue bonnets goes to the head coach?
I'm just trying to figure out why would anyone name it that.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny, dude. Bobby B says it is the Revivalry. Yes, Scotty. Yes, Bobby B. It is. That's what we'll always call it. Hey, again, if you're watching on X, please subscribe on YouTube. Terrence and I do this at 5:00 every Sunday. It does go up on podcast platforms either late tonight or early in the morning tomorrow. But way more fun to have an active chat tonight. I know we're feeling a lot of things. Man, I'm going to rest up on this bye week, Terrence. I've been working hard 7 days a week to get this green and gold show done. So I'm going to get some sleep this week. I already took a nap today. I'm feeling very thankful. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for college football, man. This is fun. Lucky we get to do it. Thanks to Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath. If you need a remodel done at your home, seriously, even if you don't go with them, just give them a call. Give Kelly a call. Tell her Scotty sent you. Terrence sent you. We'd love for you to call them. Terrence, final any treasure trove piece of wisdom for our friends?
Rest up, guys. Take the bye week and really recover. Continue to grow, continue to learn, get your workouts in, hydrate, and don't be stupid. We need all you guys on the field. Enjoy being a college student because I know there's a lot of pressure in itself, and us fans put a lot of pressure on you as well. But just go be a college student, have fun this week. Rest up and get ready to finish out the season.
Sick 'em Bears, thank you guys so much for joining us. Let me make sure this outro is queued up. We love being the producer and the host at the same time. It's a lot of fun. For Terrence Ganaway, my friend, my name is Scotty Swingler. This is Please Bear With Me, presented by Rogue Media. We'll see you next week at 5:00.
We are Rogue Media Sports.